Hello, hi, and welcome to Empathic Fire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Sagittarius in December 2020. What is going on, Sagittarius? How are you guys doing? I hope you are doing well. All right, friends, right off the bat, happy birthday, Sagittarius. It is your season. It is your month. It is your time. Hopefully, if you are celebrating your birthday, I hope it's an amazing day. I hope you have a good time and you're able to really enjoy your special day. And in general, Sagittarius, I'm wishing and hoping that you are safe, happy, healthy, and secure at this time, no matter where you are in the world, no matter what you're doing and who you're doing it with, okay? In other news, my friends, happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah, happy Kwanzaa, happy winter solstice if you do something for that. Whatever your tradition is, whatever you're planning to do, engaging in and getting around with people, please take all precautions that are necessary if you're going to be getting together with people. As you know, 2020 is rolling out of the door, but all of the things that it brought in with us or brought into us is not going to be wrapped up by the month's end. So please be very cautious at this time. I can't stress that enough, as my best friend was diagnosed with coronavirus and they did everything to the letter that they needed to do. Unfortunately, other people around them that they had to work with did not take those precautions, and they themselves, no matter how hard they tried, ended up being diagnosed. So I want everybody to make good choices if you can. If you can skip festivities, even though I know it's your birthday season, even though I know it's the holiday season, I would tread on this on the side of caution. I would do that if I were you. But you're all adults. You make your own choices, okay? Other general announcements before we get started here, Sagittarius. It is your birthday season, so I will be going live for you guys here on the channel on December 12th at 7 p.m. here on the channel. So if you have a question for me for your birthday season, I would be glad to answer it for you. I'll be here live again at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here in the States. If that works for you locally, if you can catch me and swing on by, I would be happy to interact with you and answer your questions, all right? Anything else? No ma'am, no sir, so let's go ahead and get into it. Sagittarius, anything you want from me, it's already in the description box. If you want the timestamp, it is down there. Information on how to purchase a personal reading with me is also down there. And if you're looking to follow me on Instagram, I've given you a handy dandy little link to my Instagram account, so you can follow me if you choose, okay? All right, guys, let's go ahead and get into it. Sagittarius. Let's see the outcome, please, for Sagittarius in December. Sagittarius in December, outcome for them, please. Okay, very quietly flipped over there. Bottom of the deck is the overall energy. Okay, let's flip the two cards that came face down. All right, and we shall figure this baby out. All right, let's figure it out. Please show me where Sagittarius is in December 2020. Sagittarius in December 2020, please show me. Okay, pretty quick. I like that. All right, guys, coming into December, you come in with the energy of the Ten of Wands. All right. So I feel like this is the expected ending of something, or overdue ending, something like that. Ten of Wands is a culmination point in the tarot. It signals that we've gone as far as we can go in a particular situation, or carrying a particular burden, or carrying a particular set of responsibilities, or something like that. And it's become either too much to bear, or we've done our due diligence and now it's the time to put it down, set it down, and move on to something else. Or in terms of tarot, we would go back down to the ace and start our journey again. Ace, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on and so forth, in the repeated circles that we engage in here in life. Particular to your case, Sagittarius, I feel like there's been a lot of wisdom that you've gathered, or at least there's the potential for it. And I'm saying you, Sagittarius, this is a general reading. I could be talking about someone else in your situation because the energies can be reversed or flipped around in any type of way. So please don't hold on to this if this isn't you. It could be someone that you're dealing with. But whoever this person is, because of that staff she's holding and how it's illuminated at the top, and it sort of looks like a star. Yeah, it sort of looks, I'm not sure if the camera will be able to focus. Oh, it kind of can. You see how it's like a little bit in the shape of a star? So that gives me, again, this idea that you're kind of ending something or come to the end of a certain journey in your life, a certain path in your life. And with that ending, there is tremendous or considerable, let's say maybe not tremendous, but considerable wisdom that you've gained. In some of your cases, because of what's floating around her with the tarot cards that are falling down by her side, some of you, this is coming in the form not necessarily of this tarot reading, but maybe several others. Maybe you've worked with other readers, or you've gotten a personal reading done and you've learned some things, or maybe a long time ago you had a tarot reading read, or like your palm read, or like somebody read your birth chart to you, and you might be like cluing yourself in, like, oh, even though that was like 18 years ago, wow, this is exactly what that person told me, or this is exactly what I read about, or this, so you're connecting those dots from a spiritual place, from a metaphysical place, yes? What the Ten of Wands is pertaining to, like I said, it could be duties, responsibilities. It could be just the ending of a particular relationship or a situation in your life. You could be leaving a job. You could be moving out of your home or doing something like that. It's going to, of course, have different details in each of your lives, but it feels really expected because, okay, thank you. Like, because I don't usually get that, and I did lead with that expected ending, right? And the reason I think I'm saying that is because unlike other depictions of the Ten of Wands, she's walking kind of determined, like she has a determination. In traditional depictions of this card, you'll see the person holding the wands in front of them. They won't be, like, I guess they're sort of in a quiver or some type of backpack or something. So she's done a smart thing. Whoever this person is, you or someone else, and I'm saying she only because there's a female here. This could apply to a male, okay? But there's this wise way of carrying the burden, wise way of completing the journey. Like I said, traditional depictions of this card, you'll see the person carrying the wands in front of them. They won't be wrapped together. They'll be loose. It'll look like maybe they're about to fall down, or it will look like the person is exhausted. Now, I'm not saying that this person or the actions that this person has taken has been completely easy, but comparatively to other depictions of the Ten of Wands in other decks, this one is one of the smartest I've ever seen illustrated, okay? So that's why I'm getting the sense of you knew this ending was coming, or you knew that eventually what you were focused on in your life, what responsibilities you held, what duties you held, you knew eventually they would end, right? Or if they're not ending, they would be transitioning in some type of way. If it's not a full end, if it's not a complete stop to the action, something pivotal is happening at the very least, okay? What else happens for Sagittarius? That was very crisp. That was very clear. I liked that as a reader. As far as if you're enjoying this ending, that's a different story. Now, what else happens for Sagittarius? Yes. Okay. So, yes. Some of you, this is the ending of a particular relationship. And again, I'm not trying to say, yes, I'm excited. I have no dog in this fight. I'm reading your cards, but I'm not a Sagittarius. I'm not dealing with any Sagittariuses, so it makes no difference to me. But I like it because I feel already there's like a resolve going on in this energy. And you and or other people might not feel the same way, but somebody here is just like, well, I knew that was going to happen, so let me just go ahead and get on with my life, right? Yes. Yes. So let me just go on and let me get on with my life. Six of Wands. Now, this could have, because of what this card traditionally depicts or what it traditionally is aligned to, this could have been a battle. And that could have been why the Ten of Wands showed up, because again, Ten of Wands indicates carrying a certain burden, and it's not always the easiest walk to make, okay? Again, even though the artwork here is pretty smart, I think it's one of the most clever ways I've seen the Ten of Wands illustrated, because we're modern humans. If I need to carry 10 objects in my hand, we have bags for that. She's employing a bag. Other depictions, modern humans, not using bags, not using twine, not, using an animal or a wheelbarrow or anything. This person in this depiction does a smart move and collects all the wands into a vessel, into a bag to make it easier for them to carry. Doesn't mean that it was a cakewalk, but it at least was easier as compared to other people's journeys. Okay, so that's what I mean. Now, where I think not the trouble, but again, what this card is depicting, Six of Wands, is victory after a battle, victory after a journey, victory after a trial, a quest, time away from the kingdom. Traditionally speaking, the Six of Wands is a welcoming party. Come on home. Oh, maybe some of you are going home. Maybe you were like on some type, what do you call that? Jesus. What do you call that? Like maybe some of you were like studying abroad, or maybe with 2020 being what it was, maybe some of you were sort of delayed from coming home because of travel restrictions, and that was its own burden. The Ten of Wands doesn't have to be you've been doing it for years. You could have been doing it for a couple of months. Okay, so it's all relative to your specific experience. But it's like there's something about coming home and being welcomed to come home after a very trying experience, a very difficult experience. Now, I feel for many of you, not all, this is going to revolve around the severing of a relationship or the ending of a particular relationship. It doesn't have to be a nasty ending, doesn't have to be an ending of a romantic type, but in the midst of letting something go, letting go of the trials and the tribulations you just went through, letting go of the like the lessons you just learned. Like again, like someone maybe is coming home from studying abroad and maybe it was really hard. Another thing, because this person is dressed in military garb, maybe there's someone who's being released from like basic training or some grueling type of training in their military career. I don't know. And even though it's sort of, again, because this six of Wands follows the Five of Wands in tarot. Five of Wands is about conflict, is about competition, is about multiple people vying for position. Okay, maybe that's it. Maybe you were in a competition and maybe you win, maybe you lost, I don't know. But there is sort of this bittersweet, I knew it would end, maybe I didn't know it would end this way, or maybe I'm sad to see this relationship or this competition or this phase of my life end. But it's also accepting. And again, with the Six of Wands, it's like returning home to people being excited. So if you've been away at basic training, if you've been away studying abroad, if you've been possibly on, what do you call that? Oh God, what do they call it? The word I'm going to say is wrong, but it's similar to like a pilgrimage. What is that called? Mission. Thank you. Like a mission. Maybe you've been doing mission work as a part of your church or something like that, and you've come home and people are excited to see you, but the person who's returning, again, with the imagery there, with the military garb, and also with this idea of like pilgrimage and mission work, maybe again like basic training, and even like studying abroad or like working for Habitat for Humanity or doing something philanthropic. I feel as though the Ten of Wands person, you or someone else, whoever it is, has seen some shit. In the various ways we can take that, has really seen and experienced some things that are going to shape them for the future. Like I said, this might not be an ending. It could just be a pivotal moment where maybe in your military career or your scholastic career, you've taken a year off from your studies and you traveled the world, volunteering, and you've just seen some things. And maybe that's going to not end your college career or your military career, but it's going to maybe refocus it in some type of way. Yes? Because the Six of Wands, again, is returning from battle, is returning from something that was arduous, that was difficult, that was hard on the individual in some form or fashion. Okay? Returning home, feeling victorious, feeling like, okay, that's over with. Maybe we'll have like a little celebration, a little party. Again, if you're getting together with people, please be safe because the pandemic isn't discriminatory. It does not care about why you want to celebrate. It can still get up in your party and wreck some shit. Okay, so please be careful if you're going to be celebrating anything at this time. Now, the return home, again, it's like bittersweet because for some of you, we're transitioning now. For some of you, this is a very harsh ending to a very significant relationship that you and or other people might not want to go into. Maybe you don't even acknowledge it. It's very strange. But yes, it's two times over, three times over maybe, that you may have had a particular relationship with a person, friend, family, otherwise, I don't care. And it was copacetic for a while, but now it's not. And the way in which it has ended or transformed or pivoted in some type of way is a little hard to bear, okay? Or you absolutely just triumph over the other person. Two of Cups in reverse. So Two of Cups, in other readers' estimations and sometimes mine, can be labeled as a soulmate card. If that resonates with you, if that vibes with you, cool. I will give you the standard J caveat. Soulmates do not always have to be romantic relationships, number one. And number two, soulmate relationships do not last forever sometimes, and they are not always the most pleasant connections you will have in your life. The purpose of a soulmate, no matter the type, is to help you learn lessons along your own personal journey, your own trajectory in this life and beyond. Period, paragraph, as my mother likes to say. That is one of the biggest things that in my work, I'm pretty staunch about, because I feel, listen, I'm not trying to drag anybody. I feel a lot of people throw it around and get all wrapped up in the fantasy of soulmate connections. This, if you look at this depiction, as romantic as it might seem, as magical as it might seem, what are these two doing? They're working in a lab. I'm not a scientist. I'm actually very bad at science and math in school, right? But let me tell you, anytime you're in a lab, you got to be careful with what you're doing. You are, in this case, look at them. They're concocting something. They're creating something by pouring something into those containers, each of them, right? And yes, it looks magical. It looks, wow, look at that. It's a spectacle. It's something to behold. But in a laboratory, shit can go wrong. Even if these two are soulmates, even if they're, oh, you complete my sentences and you complete me. Okay, sure. But at any moment, this could blow up. You know what I mean? I've never been in a lab explosion or something like that, or some type of emergency or anything like that. But I would be very cautious because of the reality of it. So why am I saying that? The reality is, soulmate or not, you're still dealing with another human being, an individual, okay, Sagittarius, and they're dealing with you. And it's not a guarantee. I don't care what kind of person they are to you, karmic partner, twin flame, soulmate, whatever. I don't care if they're your mother, your sister, your cousin, your best friend, the man or the woman you've married. I don't care who they are. It is not a guarantee that it's going to work out. Now, that's not a wish. That's a reality that I wish more people would take into consideration. It doesn't negate nor take away from the fact that, yes, someone could be your soulmate. But please keep it in mind that it's not, the purpose of a soulmate is not to come into your life and complete you. It's not to come into your life and fill in these missing blanks and you guys live happily ever after. Sometimes it's that way. I think many of us would hope for that. But please I don't know why I have to rag on this so hard in this reading, because I just like to leave the caveat as a caveat. I don't usually like to hammer on it, but for some reason I have to hammer on it in this reading. Please, someone, challenge yourself to look a little bit beyond that someone who is connected to you on a soul level is meant to be in your life forever. That might not be the case, okay? It's a hard pill to swallow. I admit that. Okay. I wasn't always thinking this about soulmates. Let me tell you that. You know, I was like 16 years old at one point in my life. I was very young at some point. you know, both in age and kind of how I thought about things and how I was able to perceive things. And as I've grown and as I've learned and as I've encountered some soulmates of mine, I'm like, oh, I got you. You're still my soulmate. However, we don't talk no more. That's okay for me, but that might not work for you, but I would encourage that. But so this Two of Cups in reverse. Some of you may have triumphed over this person, or at least the connection. Maybe that's why I hammered on it, is to affirm that maybe some of you are like, oh, I thought that was the one. You know, whether it was a best friend, a lover, someone you've known since childhood, you know, someone that you're in family relationships with, and now you're kind of on the outs with each other. Now you guys maybe are going separate ways, or it's tense between you. If it hasn't fully ended, it's just really different now. And so you might be questioning, well, if they are my soulmate, but we're going through a bad patch, or we're completely done, are they my soulmate? I'm here to tell you, yes. It is very possible, yes. Okay? Especially if you go deeper, not deeper, but if you even broaden the net and include people who are part of soul tribe or soul family, that then, oh yes, for sure. That happens all the time. Okay? So take it with a grain of salt. Six of Wands, triumphing over this relationship or the person. Now, I feel if it was bad blood, or if things got a little nasty in this ending or this pivotal point in your relationship with them, I feel as though one of you could go the other way. So keep it in mind, Sagittarius. This is a general. It can go flipped, or it can go reverse. One of you is kind of trying to take the high road and kind of stand in with purpose. And like I was just saying, getting to the bottom of things, or trying to really understand what has happened and apply it to the broader picture of your life. The other side, not so much. So I don't know who is who. You pick your side, you know where you are. Now, Two of Cups, one more thing about this, or let's see if we can get a little bit more about that, because I really went on a tangent and I wasn't really talking about the card per se. Given the artwork on this card, maybe some of you worked with this person, okay? And working and possibly also having a romantic entanglement with a person, that can complicate things. Or just the general difficulty that sometimes we have with people that we work with or we're close with in a working relationship, right? You know, when things are going well in the experiment, in terms of the artwork that's on here, when the experiment is going great, it's going great. But when the research isn't, you know, following through, or the funding falls through, or people sort of, oh my God, something happened with my lip there. When people experience, you know, personal hardships, it can change their behavior, change their mood, change their attitude, change how they show up to work and what they bring to the table. And that's kind of what I feel here. What used to be a very copacetic relationship where you guys were on the same page and you could, you know, again, like maybe even finish each other's sentences, by this point, it maybe feels like you both speak different languages and you have no idea what this person is talking about. And that, again, is not to say it wasn't important. It's not to say that person is or was not ever your soulmate. That is not the point. The point is, I don't know, there's a grander, there's a wider, more elevated, yes, got you. There's a more elevated perspective that you and or this other person, I think both of you are taking. However, you're doing it differently. So, why do I say that? These two cards here, elevation, Seven of Wands and the Six of Swords. One of you, I don't know who is who, so put yourself where you need to be. Seven of Wands. So I feel this is the person who realizes there's more to learn here. There's more to understand here. And in this moment, or in the, whenever this all transpires, some of you, I'm talking about your past moment. Some of you, I'm talking about a present moment. Others of you, this is something that's coming down the line for you in the future sometime. But I feel somebody here is like, I got more things I need to do and learn here and experience here, or take into consideration. But I'm not necessarily wanting to engage in that just yet. This is sort of like a to be continued, you know. This is sort of like on TV where they well, back in the day, I don't think they program TV this way anymore. Maybe they do. I don't really watch TV as much as I used to, at least not live. Like, you know, Hulu was invented for a reason. So I feel like this person is like a to be continued. So it like they're sort of at a cliffhanger. Haha, cliff. You know, another word, another thing that indicates elevation, right? So this person is standing on a cliff or standing on some type of a dais or something like that, and they're not really moving forwards or backwards. They're not going up or down. However, they don't want to go down, like, because that's the other thing about the Seven of Wands. It's a defensive posture. So this person, they don't want to be down below where these other Six of Wands are. Interesting, because Six of Wands is right there. Hold on. So is this like a coming back? Oh, that would make sense. For those where you may have worked very closely with someone with the Two of Cups in reverse, you may have lived with this person if it was a romantic thing, and you guys break up, you gotta go home, you don't want to go home. I did say that about the Six of Wands. It could be a coming home scenario, right? Welcome back home. And there is possibly, again, with the Seven of Wands, a reluctance or a resistance to that because, again, defensive posture. I don't want to go where those Six of Wands are. I'm already... And that would make sense, you know. I mean, we've all been there, have we not? Or many of us have been there at least. You fall in love, you move in with a person, or you begin to build a life with them, or you start to make plans, and then maybe, for whatever reason, whoever does what, and blah, 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 it just ends. And some of us have to, not all of us, have to go home, whatever that means, and kind of start all over again. So literally, someone might be returning to their hometown, moving back in with relatives because, you know, I spent the last 2 years of my life going halvesies on the rent with my boyfriend or my girlfriend or whoever. Now that we're not boyfriend and girlfriend anymore, I'm not going to live with this person. That's, I mean, number one, I think that's healthy. People who, listen, I read about it all the time. I hear about it all the time. I don't understand it, but that's people's choice. Living with an ex, why? Please, if you do that, tell me why. I don't get it. And I've been in situations where I very well could have, but I certainly did not. Because I just, for me, I was like, well, that would be unhealthy. So I'm just going to go. Or you're going to go. Somebody going to go. Okay? But, you know, we all make our choices and we all have our different perspectives. But I still feel there's this, now I have to go and deal with this again. Being at home with my parents, being at home and living with my cousins or whoever. And the recognition that comes with the Six of Wands, number one, Six of Wands, in terms of the other persons in the card who's not on the horse, they're happy that the person has returned. Oh, we're so glad to see you. Come on home. Oh, you know, I know that was tough for you, sweetie, but, you know, just come on home and it'll be okay, you know? And there's certainly, like I said before, a bittersweet thing about that. It's good to go back and be around people that know and love you and who are interested in taking care of you and helping you, you know, mend your broken heart or get over whatever you need to get over. But because of the endeavor that was already there, again, the Five of Wands or Six of Wands has seen some shit, right? So in a loving relationship where you may have lived together for several years, maybe you were engaged, maybe you were married, who knows? Or you were in a working relationship and it was going well and business was booming or the research was going well, but then something happened with your partner and they can't continue on with the research or they can't continue their part of the project. And so you got to scrap the whole thing. So there's like this jolted energy of, I'm not where my mind is. Ooh, I'm not where my mind is. My mind, again, is used to being in a commitment. My mind and my heart is used to being in a connection, and now I'm not. And so that jilted feeling of being in a new reality leaves someone, again, in a to be continued standpoint. So I'm not wanting to go backwards towards the Six of Wands or get down off of this dais, get down off of this cliff, but then also check out what's behind this person, a big old mountain. And what was I telling you before? Somebody here, if, you know, well, somebody here is knowing there's something here for me to know, something here for me to learn, something more for me to get out of the situation. And that could be the looming mountain in the background that possibly this person knows I got to climb that mountain by myself. I've got to figure out what I was doing the past 2, 3, 15 years of my life, however long it was, and sort of get back to this understanding of the self. This is all Wands energy. That's all fire. It could be you, Sagittarius, as a fire sign, but it does not have to be. Now, the other side of this. Six of Swords. They too, whoever they are, you or this is you, they are also on the move. Elevated as well in this, blimp hybrid airplane contraption thing, okay? They also are above the situation or moving away from something, okay? We get that twice. Excuse me. Two sides are doing the same thing. This side, however, is sort of, I feel in a way, escaping or trying to forget the whole thing. Because Six of Swords talks about clean slates a lot of the time. Talks about moving on, leaving old baggage and difficulty behind. And what precedes the Six of Swords is the Five of Swords. Five of Swords and Five of Wands are both cards of challenges and sometimes chaos, sometimes confusion, competition sometimes. But the Five of Swords, in my estimation, is a lot more combative. It's a lot more argumentative. It's a lot more it's a lot dicier. Thank you. It's a lot dicier than the Five of Wands in some ways. Not always, but in some ways, right? And also, the Five of Swords has a different connotation. I know it's not out here on the board, but contextually, I feel your reading is talking about progression. And if we talk about progression or succession, it would make sense to bring up the two cards that are not here, the Five of Wands and the Five of Swords. Now, Five of Swords, again, I feel, or is sometimes talking about someone sabotaging something, someone trying to win at all costs, and it being a shallow or hollow victory to get away with something or to win an argument. Maybe that's what happened in your connection with this person in the Two of Cups. Maybe there were just like useless, pointless, seemingly random and unnecessarily aggressive arguments or disagreements, okay? And that, if someone is perpetuating that or constantly bringing things up or not letting things go, and they're like, why are we talking about this? I thought we settled this. Well, let me tell you, it's not settled. And it's just like, that is either a conscious or subconscious act of sabotage in order to drive a wedge, either consciously or subconsciously. I'm going to continue to talk about this and continue to engage in this combative, argumentative energy that can fatigue other people around you and fatigue the self, or at least provide the self with reason to, quote unquote, like, escape. Listen. Friends of mine, non-Sagittarius friends, by the way, have told me stories over the years, and I'm just like, oh, wow, you were dealing with, no offense, a crazy person. Because a lot of folks, no offense, and I'm not trying to really drag anybody, but this is how humans mostly are. I find a lot of people are afraid to be honest. And I'm not trying to call you or anybody else a liar, but, and honesty, let me put it this way. Honesty is not always necessarily the opposite of truth or the opposite of, the opposite of a lie. Thank you. I was like, opposite of the truth. Those are synonyms. Anyway, honesty is not always the opposite of lying or being a liar. Honest as in, like, it was so interesting. I read something about this recently, or I heard something. Honest with the self. Let's say it that way. I feel this other side, whoever it is, you or the other person, Sagittarius, there wasn't a whole lot of honesty with the self. Meaning, you could have had someone who initially was excited to work with you, date you, move in with you, build a business with you, all those things. Initially. very excited to do that. But as time went on, as things progressed, as things change, as people change, environments change, situations and circumstances around you change, something became amiss. But because of the initial commitment of contractual agreements in terms of business, romantic agreements in terms of love and relationships, commitments to even, property. Like maybe it wasn't even a love relationship that you are leaving behind. It could have been roommates. And we said for the next 4 years, we're going to live together. 2 years into it, your roommate's like, so I'm not going to pay the rent next month. And that's, and they've changed their mind. That could have, in that specific case, very quickly, they tell you like a week before rent is due or whatever is normally due, the rent, the utilities, whatever. I don't have the money. I'm actually thinking of moving out. Say what? A week before it's due? What do you mean? That's not, again, someone wasn't honest about that. Because to travel in a machine like this, because for some reason I get this feeling that the two people in that contraption, they built it. If they didn't build it, they rented it. You just don't do that overnight, So I feel as though someone knew well before the ending or the change of their mind, change of their heart, change of their feelings. They had an inkling. If they didn't know for sure, they at least had an inkling. But did they communicate it? No. And that comes down to being honest with the self. And why do I go on this tangent of honest with the self? I have found in my observation of people, and I am a person myself, so I'm no saint here, that people often will not be honest with themselves because they understand or they fear how their own authentic truth will affect other people. You hear it all the time. You hear it all the time. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how you were going to react. I didn't know if you would still care about me. I didn't know if we could still be friends after this. I didn't know how you were going to get through this. So I just, blah, 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 blah. I didn't know what was going to happen with this, da, da, da. All that uncertainty, which is an honesty, being authentic to yourself, having insecurities and uncertainties and being like, well, I'm thinking about things or I'm feeling things and blah, blah, blah. And these are the things that are changing. Most people keep that inside and they don't communicate it, correct? I don't think it's right, but that's reality. And that's what I'm sensing here. And that could be also why the other side of this, whoever it is, you or someone else, is defensive. Because remember, Seven of Wands is a defensive energy. And I told you, it's like a jilted energy. Like all of a sudden, my life is different. My life is now not on the trajectory, on the path that I thought it was going to be on. It's like an abrupt ending or a cliffhanger. What? That can't be how the story ends. To be continued for this person, and this person just totally is just like out the door. Okay? So Six of Swords, I feel, even if it's a sudden ending between you and someone else, Sagittarius, this person, preparation. They knew, and that's the other thing. They might not have known consciously. I'll give this side credit, whoever they are, you or the other person. I'll give them credit. They may not have known consciously, because I got to tell you, again, I was young once. I wasn't always this person who I am today. I used to do things that current me is just like, man, what a piece of work you were. That was terrible. That's trash what you did. Why did you behave that way? Because I wasn't honest with myself. Because I wasn't necessarily connecting those dots within myself and then being able to articulate that outwardly towards other people. Okay? So that's what this feels like. Now, Jesus. Final card in your main spread, Seven of Swords. What was I just going on a huge damn tangent about? Seven of Swords. Somebody was a little dastardly, was a little sneak, and did things behind someone else's back. Whoever it is, you did it to them, they did it to you. It does not matter to me. I would hope that nobody does it to anybody, but this card has shown up. So this could be blatant, conscious, intended lies, manipulation, deception, or this is the byproduct of sneaky avoidant behavior. Feeling lied to, feeling manipulated, feeling as if someone was deceiving you, even if that was not their intention. You can insert the specifics for your own story. I don't know what they are. But when this card comes out, it's really like a shocker. It's unexpected. You know, the Seven of Swords in this deck and in other decks, it's showing someone under the cover of night, and it's foggy out, it's misty out, right? The environment is perfect to be a sneaky snake. Yes, so it's unseen. It's done in the shadows. It's done in the nighttime, or under this cloud of uncertainty, this cloud of mystery. Yes. So again, I don't want to credit or discredit someone here. Meaning, I don't want to make someone seem like, oh, they didn't know what they were doing. They were like a lost lamb in the woods, and they just happened to make a couple of missteps, and it's a mistake. For some, that might be true. In other cases, it was planned. It was premeditated. They knew exactly what they were doing, because remember what I said. Some people, again, we can point to our own stories or the stories of people that we know. I've seen it. People, like some people have gone back and gotten confirmation like years later from like exes or like old friends. So like when you said that and you started that fight with me, like you knew what you were doing, right? Like you wanted to break up, or you wanted that. And years later, the person is like, yeah, I did. It's like I was being an asshole just so you would break up with me is sometimes what people come back and say in retrospect. That could be what has happened here. Recall what I said about this and the laboratory, and we have expectations, and there are safety measures in place, and if you're not careful, what you do in the lab can cause an explosion. Somebody caused an explosion in the lab, so to speak. They knew it. If I add too much of this, the beaker's going to explode and it's going to cause a fire or a chemical, what do you call it? Blast or something? I don't know what you call that. And it's going to cause the building to evacuate, and then we're going to lose funding for the project, and then I can go home and live my own life. Like all of this orchestrated action just so you didn't have to write a resignation letter, or you didn't have to own directly the loss of the relationship, the loss of the connection, the loss of the job. If I make it look like an accident, people won't think I'm such a POS. If I make it look like they're fighting with me, I won't look like the asshole, and she's going to break up with me, or he's going to break up with me. It's in some cases, that's how crafty someone in this situation has been or will be. Again, for some of you, this is upcoming. Okay? Listen. I don't know why. And I'm not sure that that's important, but it's one of those things where someone else with the Seven of Wands energy, Six of Wands energy, Ten of Wands energy is possibly going to learn that lesson, or is possibly going to have that as like a takeaway. You know, what is the summary of this? I was dealing with a highly manipulative person who, in their own warped way, was not able to deal with their own insecurities or their own change of mind, change of heart in our situation. Instead of letting me know or connecting those dots and speaking authentically, they made a whole, circus of a show to get me to break up with them, or get me to resign, or get me to be on the hook for something that I didn't do, but it looked like I did it, blah, 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 blah. Like deep sabotage. And people often do that, unless they're a psychopath, sociopath, or narcissist, or something like that. Most people do that because they have some deep set fear, some deep set insecurities and uncertainties, and they're simply not mature enough yet. We'll say it that way, okay? Sag, let's see what's, yep, okay. Your outcome. Oh, boy. Ace of Cups. So, reset. Not on this situation, maybe. I think in many of your situations, this is not a reset with the person or the situation or the circumstances. This is not you going back or them coming back and being like, okay, sorry, I mean, maybe. Maybe it is a little bit of an apology. Maybe it is, bygones be bygones, water under the bridge type of energy, because I'm getting like a smooth over kind of feeling when I pick this card up, like smoothing it over. Like, it's strange. It's like it feels apologetic, but it might not be, and I'm sorry. This could be like a, hey, do you want to get lunch? It's your birthday season, such as Sagittarius. So if this person was the more dastardly person in the story, they might hit you with a happy birthday text, or they might send you a gift, or they might say, hey, do you think you want to get together and hang out sometime? And that's their way of apologizing, smoothing it over without actually saying the words, I'm sorry, I apologize, okay? In other cases, it has nothing to do with this person. This is just a reset for you in your own life, in your own trajectory, on your own path. Why can't I hold this card? Jesus Christ. Anyway, for some of you, it could be a reset with a new person, a new partner, whether that be romantic or business or something else. But I really do feel here, right? Because this is, yes, wonderful. So check out where we are. We're sort of in a swampy, marshy type of area. And what's growing there by my finger? A lily. Lilies grow, I believe, or not lilies, or is it what is this? This is a lotus. Thank you. That's the word. I was like, lily. That's not a lily. A lotus. My bad. Lotus flower, right? Lotuses, I believe, grow in dank water, muddy water, right? Out of really not so clean or beautiful looking water comes these very beautiful flowers, right? I think that's correct. I could be wrong. I'm not a botanist, or I'm not a herbologist or anything like that. But that's what I feel is going on for you, Sagittarius. So out of a really crummy situation, a bad breakup, the unceremonious ending to a certain part of your career, again, a business partner who just bails on you, a roommate who just bails on you, and you're left in the lurch. You're left having to return home with your tail between your legs, looking like a jackass. This is how some of you might be thinking. I'm not saying that's what you are, but this is like, there's something about, I got to go back, and I don't want to go back, or I have to reset, and I don't want to reset. However, out of that dank, not crystal clear water, very dark and muddy water, something beautiful can bloom. Yes? And I don't know 100% any of the metaphysical interpretations or importance of the lotus. I know it's important to like Eastern religions such as Hinduism or Buddhism, but I'm not 100% on it. So if it's something that sounds like you would be interested in exploring, I would look up lotuses and see if there's some deeper context there for you. Okay. Overall energy, lovers, right behind it, is the Page of Cups. Water sign energy, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. You could be dealing with a water sign, but you don't have to be. This could have been who you were dealing with, or this could have been the nature of your connection, period, between the pair of you. Not to say you are young or they are young, but the energy that you or they or both of you carried into the situation was very young, was very hopeful. It's not fully fledged. It's not fully proven. It's not fully developed. Pages equal, again, young energy, immature energy. Also sometimes talk about children. So maybe you, again, not that you were young, but maybe you were young in terms of your experience. Maybe this was the first serious relationship in your life, right? And you could be in your 20s, and this is like the first person that you dated seriously, the first person you ever lived with, the first person you ever said, I love you to, something like that. there's a lot of like first initiate energy, like never did this before. And because you never did it before, because they never did it before, there were bound to be some imperfections. There were bound to be some type of setbacks or pitfalls, yes? Again, this page is holding a single cup. And again, the Ace of Cups is your outcome energy. So there is possibly a chance of wanting to apologize or some thinly veiled apology. In very few cases, an actual chance at reconciliation. But I don't think that would happen if this was immediate. Like if you recently, experienced this ending, I don't think you're going to reconcile within a couple of weeks or months after the fact. I think time has to pass and then maybe you could reconcile. But that is, I don't know that you or they or either of you would be interested in that anytime soon or even in the future. Like I said, in very few cases that possibly could read as a reconciliation card, okay? I think, yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Sagittarius, that is your reading for December. If you liked it, there's a like button down below. Hit that for me. Let me know that you like the reading. That way, if you want to leave a comment, that also helps me know if you enjoyed yourself or you found something here. If it resonated for you, please leave a comment. And feel free to subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet. Doing any and all of those things helps supports me as a reader and keeps the videos in circulation. Again, Sagittarius, it's your season, so we got a lot of things for you. So we've got this reading, you've got your birthday reading, which is in your playlist, Sagittarius 2020. You've got your mid-December coming up, and again, the live on December 12th. For those of you who were born under the star sign of Sagittarius, that is when I will go live for you at 7 o'clock, okay? Sag, I thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Take care. Bye.